I have an alibi. My twin sister is the alibi. I want you to understand something before I tell you any of this. I am not a violent person. I have never hit anyone in my life. The closest I ever came to hurting another human being was a slap I almost gave a boy in 7th grade who pulled my hair, and even then I stopped myself because I felt sorry for him. So when the police told me I had killed a man, I laughed. Just for a second. It came out before I could stop it, this small, nervous bark of a laugh, because the whole thing was so absurd. Then I saw the detective's face, and the laugh died in my throat, and I have not really laughed the same way since. Let me start at the beginning, or at least the beginning of the end. It was a Friday night in October. I was home in my apartment, the small one on Carlisle Street with the radiator that clanked all winter and the window that looked out over a parking lot. I was painting. Not house painting, real painting, the kind I never had time for during the work week. I had a half-finished canvas of the river propped on my easel, and I had paint on my hands and an old shirt that used to be Mark's, which I had kept even after we broke up because it was soft and it smelled like nothing anymore, but it was comfortable. I was happy that night. I remember that clearly because of how strange it feels now. I had a glass of cheap wine. I had music on. I had spent 2 years rebuilding myself after a relationship that hollowed me out. And that Friday, alone in my apartment with my paint and my wine, I finally felt like the rebuilding was done, like I was a whole person again. Then my phone rang. The number was local, but I didn't know it. I almost let it go to voicemail. I wish I had, though it wouldn't have changed anything. The man on the other end said he was Detective Harris with the city police, and he asked if I was Maya Chen, and when I said yes, he asked if I could come down to the station to answer some questions about Mark Reyes. I hadn't heard Mark's name out loud in 6 months. We broke up in the spring. It was a quiet ending, the kind where two people just run out of things to give each other. I asked the detective what this was about, and he said it would be better to talk in person. And there was something in his voice, this flat, heavy calm, that made the wine turn sour in my stomach. I changed out of Mark's shirt. I don't know why that detail stays with me. I just couldn't show up at a police station wearing his shirt. The station smelled like old coffee and floor cleaner. They put me in a small room with a metal table, and Harris came in with a folder, and he was older than he sounded on the phone, with gray at his temples and eyes that had clearly seen every lie a human being could tell. He told me Mark was dead. I think I said something like, "What?" Not a question, just the word falling out of me. Mark, dead. The man I had loved for 2 years, the man whose shirt was still folded on my bed. Harris watched me the whole time he said it, and I understand now that he was studying my reaction, looking for the wrong note, the false grief. Then he opened the folder and laid out the photographs. I am not going to describe what was in those photographs. Some things should not be put into words. I will only say that Mark had been stabbed many times, and that the photographs were the kind of thing that gets into your sleep and stays there. I started to cry. Harris let me. Then, when I had calmed down a little, he slid a different set of papers across the table. These were stills from a security camera. The camera was in the lobby of Mark's apartment building, the one on Westwood with the glass doors and the fake plant by the elevator. I knew that lobby. I had walked through it 100 times. In the photographs, a woman was walking through it. The timestamp said 9:42 in the evening, the night Mark was killed. The woman had her hood up, but at one point she turned toward the camera, and you could see her face clearly. Dark hair, a small scar on the left eyebrow from a bike accident at age 9. It was my face. "That's not me," I said. Harris said nothing. "That is not me. I was home. I was painting. I was alone all night." "Anyone who can confirm that?" he asked. And that was the moment I understood the size of the hole I was standing in. Because no, there was no one. I lived alone. I had ordered no food, taken no calls, posted nothing online. I had spent a perfect quiet evening with my paints and my wine, and that perfect quiet evening was the kind of alibi that wasn't an alibi at all. I had no proof I existed that night anywhere but in front of my easel. The footage showed the woman entering the building at 9:42. It showed her leaving at 11:58. Over 2 hours. When she left, the hood was down, and her hands were dark. And even on the grainy footage, I knew what was on them. "Maya," Harris said, and his voice was almost gentle, which was worse than if he'd shouted. "If something happened, if there's a story here we should know, now is the time." I kept staring at the face in the photo. My face. The scar. The way she held her shoulders, a little hunched. A habit I'd had since I was a kid because I was always a bit taller than the other girls and tried to make myself smaller. And somewhere underneath the terror, a single thought surfaced, cold and clear, like a fish coming up through dark water. Lena. I have a twin sister. Her name is Lena. She was born 11 minutes after me, which made me the older one. A fact our mother repeated my whole childhood as if it explained everything. "You're the responsible one, Maya. Lena needs more help. Lena's sensitive. Watch out for your sister." We were identical. Not just similar, identical. The kind of twins that confuse teachers and fool boyfriends. Same face, same voice, same crooked smile. The only way to tell us apart was that scar on my eyebrow, and even that faded over the years until you had to be looking for it. We were close once. When we were small, we had our own language, this babble nobody else understood, and we slept in the same bed even after our mother bought us separate ones. But somewhere along the way, something curdled between us. I got the good grades. I got the scholarship. I got the steady job and the apartment and the boyfriend, and Lena got the late nights and the bad men and the jobs that never lasted and the phone calls at 3 in the morning that I always answered. I loved her. I want to be honest about that because everything that happened comes from that love, like a vine growing out of poisoned soil. I loved my sister desperately. The way you love someone who is half of you. And I forgave her things I should never have forgiven. 2 years before all this, Lena took money out of our shared account. We'd kept it open since college. A few $1,000s we used for emergencies and to send our mother things on her birthday. Lena emptied it. $11,000. Gone. And then, so was she. No call, no note, just gone. I told myself I was furious. I told everyone I was done with her. But the truth is that under the fury, there was always a small voice asking what I had done wrong. Whether I'd been too hard on her, too perfect, too much the good one. Whether my whole, stable, careful life had been a kind of insult to her. A thing I held over her without meaning to. I sat in that police station and I knew, the way you know a thing in your body before your mind agrees to it, that my sister had walked into Mark's building wearing my face and walked out 2 hours later with his blood on her hands. I did not say her name to Harris. I want you to understand why. It's the same reason I always answered those 3 a.m. calls. Because some part of me, even then, even sitting in front of those photographs, was still trying to protect her. They let me go that night. They had no physical evidence yet, only the footage. And the footage was a woman with my face. Harris told me not to leave the city. He said it the way you'd warn someone about a stove. I drove home and I did not sleep. I sat on my bed, holding Mark's shirt, and I tried to make the pieces fit, and they would not fit. because the picture they made was too monstrous to look at directly. In the morning, I called my mother. She lives 2 hours away, in the house we grew up in, with the same wallpaper and the same framed school photos of 2 identical girls in matching dresses. When I told her Mark was dead, she gasped, and there was real shock in it. But when I asked her, carefully, whether she had heard from Lena, there was a pause. A small pause. The kind of pause that has a lifetime in it. She visited, my mother finally said, last week. She wanted to know how you were doing. I asked what that meant, how I was doing. And my mother, in that fragile, apologetic voice she'd used my whole life, told me. Lena had asked about my apartment, where I lived now, what my days looked like, when I worked, what time I usually came home. She'd asked about my friends. She'd even, my mother said, almost proudly, remembered the code to my building, the one I'd given our mother for emergencies. Lena had laughed and said, wasn't it funny that she still remembered it? My mother told me all of this as if it were sweet, as if it were a sign that my sister missed me, as if Lena's careful catalog of my entire life was a gift of love. I hung up and I sat very still. And then I did the thing I should have done from the start. I searched for myself online. There was an Instagram account in my name, not my real account, which has 200 followers and pictures of my paintings. This was a second one, Maya Chin, with my photo, my face, and it had been active for 3 months. It was full of pictures of me and Mark, except it wasn't me. I knew it wasn't me because I had not seen Mark in 6 months. But there they were, the 2 of them, at restaurants, at the beach, in his apartment, on his couch with his arm around her. Lena had my face. She had my smile. She'd even bought a jacket I owned, the green one, so the pictures would look like mine. The captions were in my voice, the way I write, the little phrases I use. She had studied me the way you study for an exam. She had been dating Mark for 3 months. As me. I need you to feel the floor drop the way it dropped for me. My sister had not simply killed a man. She had crawled inside my life like something burrowing into a body. She had taken my face and my name and gone to my ex-boyfriend and made him fall in love with her, with the her that was wearing me, and he had never known. Mark had died thinking he was back with Maya. He died with my name in his mouth. I think that was the moment the grief turned into something harder, something I could use. It took me 3 days to find her. I went through my mother again, played the loving, worried sister, said I wanted to make peace before things got worse. My mother, who had wanted us to make peace her whole life, gave me what she had. A motel. The Crossway, out past the highway exit where the city thins into gas stations and dead fields. I drove out there at dusk. I told no one. I know how that sounds. I'd just learned my sister had framed me for murder, and instead of going to the police, I got in my car and drove to a motel alone to confront her. But you have to understand, I still needed to look at her. I needed to hear it from her own mouth, in my own voice, before I could do what came next. Room 14 was at the end, away from the office. The curtains were drawn, but the light was on. I knocked, and I heard movement, and then the door opened, and I was looking at myself. It's a strange thing to see your own face open a door. We hadn't been in the same room in 2 years. She was thinner than me now, and there were shadows under her eyes, but it was my face, my scar even, drawn on with makeup, a tiny line of it above her left brow. She smiled. My smile. "Hi, Maya," she said. "I wondered when you'd come." She let me in. She actually stepped back and let me in, calm as anything, like she'd been expecting me for dinner. The room was a mess of clothes and takeout containers, and on the bed there was a green jacket. My green jacket, or a copy of it. I asked her why. That's all I could get out at first. Why? And Lena sat down on the edge of the bed and told me everything. And the worst part, the part I will carry for the rest of my life, is that for a while I understood her. She'd met Mark by accident, she said. Saw him at a coffee shop, recognized him from photos I'd shown her years ago. And she'd had an impulse, just to see what it would be like to be me for an afternoon. She walked up to him and he lit up, because he thought I'd come back. And she said it was the first time in her life a person had been that happy to see her. So she kept doing it. She became me, a little at a time, and Mark loved her, and she let herself be loved. She said it was like wearing a warm coat after a lifetime in the cold. But Mark, she said, was not who I remembered. Her voice changed when she said it. The performance dropped away, and underneath it was something raw. He hit her. The first time was 2 months in, an argument over nothing, and he backhanded her across the face. And then he cried and apologized, and she forgave him because that was a thing she knew how to do, forgiving men who hurt her. It happened again and again. And the night she finally told him it was over, that she was leaving, he grabbed her by the throat and put her against the wall, and she said she truly believed she was going to die in that apartment. There was a knife on the counter. She reached for it. She didn't plan it, she said. She just reached, and then it was done, and Mark was on the floor, and there was so much blood. I believed her. God help me. I believed her because I knew Mark. I knew the cold thing in him that I'd spent 2 years telling myself wasn't really there. The way he could go flat and hard. The bruise I once had on my arm that I told my friends I got from a door. So when she killed him, it was self-defense. It might really have been self-defense. But then she stood up off that motel bed, and the raw thing went out of her voice, and the calm came back, and she said the part that broke whatever was left of my heart. And then I realized, she said, that I had a choice. I could be Maya who killed her abuser, or I could be Maya forever, the real Maya. And the real Maya could just disappear. She had cleaned the scene to look like me. She'd used my name, my face, the account, all of it, building me as the killer for months without my knowing. She had planned to vanish with my identity, to become me somewhere new, and leave the actual me to rot in a cell for a murder I never committed. You took everything, I said. You took Mark. You took my name. You were going to take my whole life. And she looked at me with my own eyes and she said, you were never going to use it right anyway. I called the police from the bathroom of that motel with the fan running so she couldn't hear. I told myself it was justice. I told myself she'd framed me, that whatever Mark had done to her, she had tried to destroy an innocent person, her own sister, and that was a line you didn't get to come back from. But I'd be lying if I said there wasn't something else in it, something small and ugly. After a lifetime of being the good one, the responsible one, the one who cleaned up her messes and answered the 3 a.m. calls and forgave and forgave and forgave, there was a part of me that was glad to finally be the one who got to walk away clean while Lena paid. I think she saw it on my face just before the police came through the door, because she stopped struggling, stopped doing any of it, and she gave me this little smile. Not angry, almost kind. Like she finally understood something about me that I hadn't understood about myself. They took her out in handcuffs. She didn't look back. I gave my statement 3 times that night, once at the motel, leaning against a squad car with a foil blanket around my shoulders that I didn't need because it was July and the air was thick and warm and smelled like the inside of a hot tire. Once at the station, in a room with a table bolted to the floor, and once more in the morning, after they'd let me sleep for a few hours on a vinyl couch in the lobby, when a detective named Russo sat across from me with a coffee he never drank and asked me to walk him through it one last time. I told him everything. Mark and Lena, the years of it, the motel, what she'd said about being the real Maya and disappearing. I told him she'd built a whole fake version of me online to take the fall. I gave him the screen names, the dates, all of it. He wrote it down. He nodded in the right places, and when I was done, he sat back and looked at me for a long moment, and he said, "You're doing really well, Maya." I corrected him without thinking. "It's Lena," I said. He didn't blink. He just made a small note on his pad and said, "Sure, Lena." I should explain about us, because you can't understand any of this without understanding what it was like to grow up as the two of us in that house. Our mother used to say we were two halves of the same coin. People always say that about sisters who look alike, but with us it was different, because we were close enough in age and close enough in face that strangers couldn't tell us apart, and we'd learned young that this was a thing we could use. We swapped tests in school. We covered for each other on dates. When one of us got in trouble, the other one would sometimes take the blame, just to confuse the adults, just to remind ourselves that we had this power that nobody else had. But there was always a line between us, and the line was this. I was the steady one. Lena was the wild one. I got the good grades and the early bedtimes and the careful, narrow life. Lena got the boyfriends and the trouble and the kind of laugh that could fill a whole room. I loved her so much it hurt. I also, somewhere underneath, hated her a little, because she got to be free and I got to be good, and nobody ever asked me if that was the trade I wanted to make. When she called me that night, she was crying so hard I could barely understand her. She kept saying his name, Mark. She kept saying she didn't mean to, and I got in my car and I drove the 90 minutes to that motel without thinking, the way I'd always driven to wherever she was, because that was my job. That was who I was, the one who shows up.
I want you to hold on to that, because Rousseau and the doctors after him and the people who run this place now, they all want me to believe something else, and I've been here long enough to feel it working on me, the slow drip of their version. And I need to say my version out loud one more time before it's gone. The doctors here are very gentle. That's the thing that scares me most. They don't argue. They never argue. When I tell them my sister killed my husband and tried to steal my life, they nod and they write, and they ask me questions in this soft, careful voice, the way you talk to someone standing on a ledge. There was a woman, Dr. Aboa, who I trusted at first. She had warm hands, and she always remembered the small things I told her. The name of our childhood dog, the song our mother used to sing. After a few weeks, she brought a folder into one of our sessions and set it on the table between us and asked if I'd be willing to look at something. I said yes. I always say yes. I'm the good one. Inside the folder were photographs. The first one was of the motel room. The blood, the bed, all of it. I made myself look. And then she turned to the next one, and it was a close-up of a phone screen, the account, the messages, the whole monstrous architecture of the frame Lena had built around me. "Do you recognize this account?" she asked. "That's the one she made," I said, "to make it look like I did it." "Maya," she said softly. And I told her again, "It's Lena," and she just kept going. This account was created 4 years ago. The earliest messages on it are from before you say any of this began. They're notes to yourself. They're a journal. She slid the page closer. It's your handwriting in the photos of the physical notebook we recovered. It matches the writing on the forms you filled out when you came in here. I told her that proved nothing. I told her Lena had my handwriting down cold, that we'd practiced each other's signatures as kids, that she could fool anyone. "Where is Lena now?" Dr. Aboa asked. And I said, "In a cell. You arrested her. I was there." She was quiet for a while. Then she said the thing I keep hearing in my sleep.
There's no record of anyone named Lena being booked that night. There's no record of a second woman at the motel at all. The officers who responded found one person in that room, one living person. She paused. They found you. I want to tell you I laughed it off. I want to tell you I saw the trick of it, the way they were trying to break me, to get me to confess by rewriting the night. But I didn't laugh, because something cold moved through me when she said it. The same cold I used to feel as a kid, late at night, when I'd lie in the dark and try to remember if a certain memory had happened to me or to Lena, and I couldn't be sure. And the not being sure was like standing at the top of the stairs in the dark and not knowing how many steps were left. Here is the thing about being two halves of the same coin. A coin only has one face up at a time. I asked them, after that session, if I could see my sister. I asked them every day for a week. I said if Lena was here, if she was anywhere in this building, just let me see her, and this would all be over. I'd prove she was real. I'd point right at her. They kept saying they'd look into it. And then one night, I couldn't sleep, and I got up to use the small mirror they let us have, the one made of polished metal so we can't break it. And I looked into it, and for just a second, just 1 second, the face looking back wasn't doing what I was doing. I smiled, and it took too long to smile. I raised my hand, and it raised the other one. And it looked at me, with my own eyes, the way she'd looked at me in the motel, almost kind, almost sorry. And its mouth moved, and I swear to you, I heard it. I heard her, soft as a breath against the cold metal. You were never going to use it right anyway. I screamed. They came running. They held me down, and they gave me something, and the world went soft and far away. And the last thing I remember is Dr. Aboa's warm hands and her voice saying my name over and over. And the name she said was not the one I would have chosen. I've had a long time to think since then. They give you a lot of time in here. Time to sit, time to remember, time to take a memory out and turn it over and over until you can't tell anymore if the worn places are from the truth or just from your handling of it. And I've started to understand something. I've started to understand the real shape of it, and it's so much worse than what they think, and so much worse than what I told you at first. There was no Lena in a cell because Lena didn't go to a cell,
But it isn't because Lena was never real. They have it backwards, all of them, with their folders and their soft voices. Lena was the steady one. Lena was the good one. Lena was the sister who showed up at 3 in the morning, who answered every call, who cleaned up the messes and forgave and forgave and forgave until there was nothing left of her to forgive with. I was the wild one. I was Maya. I was the one who married Mark and let him put his cold hands on me and called my sister crying because I'd finally done the thing I'd been moving toward my whole life. I killed him. I reached, and then it was done, and there was so much blood. And then my sister came, because she always came, and she found me standing over what I'd done, and she tried to help me the way she always tried to help me. And I looked at her, my good sister, my steady sister, the one who got to be loved because she was easy to love, and I felt that small, ugly thing I'd carried my whole life, the wanting to be her, the wanting to walk away clean for once while she paid. So I made a choice. In that motel room with the fan running, I made a choice. I would not be Maya who killed her husband. I would be Lena, the real Lena, the good one, and the bad one, the Maya. She could just disappear. I cleaned the scene. I used her face, which was my face. I built the story for months in my own head, so carefully that I started to believe it, that there were 2 of us in that room, and she was the one who'd done it. I called the police, and I told them my sister was the killer, and I was the innocent one, and I pointed at the empty space where she'd been standing. But you can't frame someone who is only you. There was one living person in that room.
There was always only ever one. I did to her what I told you she did to me. I took her name. I took her clean hands and her good record and her place in the world. I tried to become her so completely that I could leave the real me to rot. And it almost worked. It's still almost working. Most days I believe it. Most days I am Lena, wronged and grieving, locked in here by people who refuse to see the sister standing right beside me. But some nights, when the metal mirror catches the light wrong, I see her looking back. Not angry, almost kind. And I understand that I didn't kill Mark and frame my sister. I killed Mark, and then I killed my sister too. Slowly. The only way you can kill the person you used to be, by wearing her face until she suffocates. She's quiet now. She doesn't fight me much anymore. I think I've nearly used her up. So if you're hearing this and you're trying to decide which one of us is telling the truth, I'll save you the trouble. We both are. That was always the problem with being two halves of the same coin. There was never anyone for either of us to blame but the other. And there was never anyone there but me.